Good morning, everyone. I'm Warid Ahmed.
I'm Abdul Majid. Hello.
Welcome to Smashi Business Show, and we have had one of the best weekends that have ever come up. How was your weekend, Majid?
It's good. It's December 4th, Wednesday, and a lot of great things happened over the past 4 days. We were on holiday. We enjoyed a lot, but what was that? Mega Campus Summit? How was it?
I visited the Mega Campus. So they had a bunch of speakers. There was Robin Sharma.
Yeah,
there was Robin Sharma. There was Randy Zuckerberg, Casey Neistat, and Robert Kiyosaki. The list was absolutely insane. But I would say, one of my favorite Casey's. So Casey Neistat, he's one of the, original YouTube vloggers. And I loved his speech so much, even more than Robin Sharma, because you know when you can tell that somebody, they're not there to give you anything dramatic. They're just there to tell you the truth and be really genuine. And something that I found specifically so interesting, it was how he spoke about this campaign that he did with Nike. So basically,
he actually is the founder of Facebook Live. So the thing that you see today, Facebook Live, she started it.
Wait, Casey is the YouTube vlogger.
Sorry, Casey Neistat. Yeah, he's the
YouTube vlogger.
Sorry, the Randy Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's the founder of Facebook Live. So Casey was, I saw a video that you did on stories, right? That he came with a whole band.
Yeah, and what's it called? Just going back to Casey, just in general, his speech, it was so beautiful because he showed how he created for Nike one of their best marketing campaigns to ever exist, right before the Olympics back in the time. And basically, it was such an interesting story, Majid, because the campaign was Nike wanted him to basically campaign the slogan of "Make It Count." And at the time, they also released new shoes. They gave him a budget. They were like, Casey, make us a really good video. And he was like, at that point, he did a bunch of videos for them. But he was like, I want something different. So you know what he did? He took the budget that Nike gave him. And what he did is he used that budget to, I believe, travel for 10 days. All over the world, he used that budget. And while he was traveling, he was just filming. And it was funny because the entire video, it's just about making it count. The entire video, it's about making it count. The videography, it was beautiful. It was so real. It was so authentic. And he said that when he finally sent it to Nike, they took an hour to respond, and he was concerned. He was like, "Oh, what did I do?" And even before he sent the video, his manager who he was working with, he's like, "Please don't disappoint me. Make this count." And at first they had an issue with the campaign. They were like, "You're not even wearing the shoes." Because when you watch the video, by the way, you see the "Make It Count" hashtag, all of that, but you don't see him wearing Nike shoes. And no
shots of the shoes or anything.
So he added one final shot at the end of just him wearing the shoes. But imagine the video right now on YouTube, it has 30 million views. And at that time, it was one of the best campaigns Nike had ever done. And it was so interesting to me because it just really showed me that in the media, when you create something that's sincere, something that's human, it works so well. Because often I feel like we think that, we really need to get something out there that's really cool and really cinematic. And do you know what I mean? But that video, it was very, don't get me wrong, it was cinematic. It depends on taste. But he put something out there that was so human. It was human, it was fun, it was sincere, and that's why it did so well.
I guess audiences have changed the taste. They want something real. Whatever they experience, if I make a video about some scenic route in Sharjah or Ras Al Khaimah or Fujairah, when they go there, if they don't get the same feeling, they'll dissociate with me. They'll be like, no, this guy showed a lot of stuff which I didn't experience. So people actually want the real feeling of any place or any campaign. So even with shoes, if they're not comfortable when you wear them, people will be like, okay, Nike did a good campaign, but I don't find whatever they marketed in these shoes or in any product that goes with any product. So yeah, the good idea by Casey.
And
you met Robert Kiyosaki. Tell us about that. That's the highlight of the Mega Campus Summit.
Robert Kiyosaki. He was
nice.
very interesting. He was a really interesting person. I think in his speech, what really stood out to me is when he said that, I really love America. I'm an American, and I really enjoyed being a soldier in Vietnam. and killing. I found that very confusing because as somebody who I really did study the Cold War.
Yeah.
What happened in Vietnam, it was very unfortunate. So when he said that, I was like, oh, okay, interesting. He is very American.
Oh yeah.
Very rooted in American values.
You were showing me the video. He said he is friends with Trump and everything. And the whole idea of nationalism is there in Trump's campaign. So maybe that is why he was saying all of that.
Yeah, and when I did an interview with him, he told me, out of the blue that, not many people can be friends with Trump. And I think he's definitely right. I don't think me and Trump would be friends. But I would like to hear what he has to say. I think Trump is he's very interesting. But
Trump is a spectrum on one side of the spectrum. He's a very different person.
A lot of people love Trump, though, by the way. A lot of Middle Eastern people who I've spoken to, a lot of Arabs, they really do stand with him. But Robert Kiyosaki, it was really interesting. I asked him, I was like, because see, this was my thought process, Majid, because I had already watched a bunch of interviews that he had done with people. People were constantly asking him and hammering him about money and how do you break out of the cycle and how do you break out of the look with money. I think it's luck. A lot of rich people can tell you what they think, but it's luck and it's how you go about it. And then the day, it's you, your spirit. Are you driven? It's all about you. But I was like, you know what? People keep asking him about money, breaking out of the school system. I was like, let me ask him, because that's just my thought process. I always ask myself, if I became somebody with a lot of money, would I become deranged? Would I be normal? Do you know what I mean? Would I use it right? So I was like, you know what? Let's ask him. So I basically asked him, you speak about money a lot. Do you think that you can make a lot of money and still be human and maintain your ethics? And he got completely mad. He was really mad. He told me that my teacher is a Marxist.
Okay.
And
we have that video, the whole interview. We'll publish it on our socials.
Please watch it. And it was so interesting because when I came back to my family and I told them about it, I was like, I was really sad, by the way. I thought it hadn't gone well. I was like, and my family, they're like, you do kind of sound like a communist when you ask that. But it's just, I guess because of the fact that I implied that people who make a lot of money, they're not good people.
Oh, yeah.
I understand the implication behind that. But at the same time, I just thought the question had so much value because it's like every single time, I get so bored. I watch these rich people be interviewed. It's all about how they make their money. Ask them something else. Do you know what I mean? But at the end, he gave me a hug. So,
that was a nice end to it.
It was really nice end to it. But he's a really kind man. He's really kind.
But he's really old now. I guess with age, there is this factor of that you were talking about, irritability, that you become, every time, you've been asked the same question 1 million times. And you want someone to talk about something else. And I guess with that question of yours, the only problem is his USP is teaching people how to get rich without obviously doing the unethical and immoral things that everyone thinks that you have to do sometimes to become rich. His whole USP, if you, the main book that he's famous for, Rich Dad Poor Dad, it's the mentality that you need to be rich. So for him, his USP is telling people how to become rich, but using all the legal ways and all the loopholes in the systems. So that is why I guess he was like, no, I think.
I don't know. For me, I guess I really, the interview of him, just constantly telling me, I don't have poor friends. I don't befriend poor people. I did find that slightly offensive. Do you know what I mean? Because,
No, he said, I have friends, but I'll never take financial advice from a poor person. I guess that was it. But to be honest, he's right.
I don't completely agree. He's right. No.
Yeah, he is.
I don't agree with it.
I'll tell you, if you want to develop a rich person's mindset, and if you want to get rich, you'll always need a surrounding or an environment where people talk about ideas or getting rich or building a start. For example, you have a startup idea in your brain. You sit with your friends and they talk about something else than building and growing up and making something. You would want your idea to be shared with them. You would want to bounce off your idea off them, ask them if it sounds great. So that is his general idea that I get, that always whatever you want to be, surround yourself with the people who also have the same dreams or motivations.
I see what you mean,
that way
Majid.
You'll grow with them.
Look, I completely agree with you in terms of that, because your friendship pool, they really are who you become. Majid, the entire reason why I work with Love in Dubai, Smashi business, it's actually because of my friend.
Oh, nice.
Because basically, a few months ago, when I was just looking for an internship, basically I had to do an internship to fulfill my placement requirements for university. And because my degree is accounting and finance, I was actually looking for, a consultancy internship. That's what I was going for, I was like, you know what, let's try and follow this path. But I had a friend, and I always said, man, I really want to work in the news. It was my dream. It was always but I didn't know how to go about it because I was like, my degree has nothing to do with this. How am I going to get there? And this friend, my best friend, they told me, they were like, by the way, there's this account, it's called Smashi Business. And I was like, what about Smashi Business? They were like, I watch this account every day, and I think you'd have a good shot at it. And I'm like, are you being serious? And they were like, yeah. And I'm like, but how am I gonna get this job? Like, this is completely impossible. I was being really negative. And my friend looked at me and they're like, you know what? You sound like a record player that doesn't, do you know what I mean? You need to get the job done. You've been saying you want this, go for it. And I'm like, how do I do it? They're like, how about you text Richard, the CEO of Augustus Media, Richard Fitzgerald, why don't you text him on Instagram? And I was like, this won't work. It's not happening. And I did it. And he responded. Richard responded. Thank you, Rich. But he responded. And that's what's so crazy. So if I had never known that friend magic, if I didn't have their advice,
you wouldn't be here.
I genuinely wouldn't be here, and I recognize that. So yes, I agree with you on the friendship part. But with the friendship part, you need to have different friends for different things. You can't, because okay, I'll give you an example. When I'm negotiating something, when I need help negotiating, standing up for myself, I go to my rich friends. You know why? They don't back down. They don't back down. They're like, no, ask for more, ask for your rights, and they're not shy about it. They're very confident about it. So I'd go to them. But then at the same time, when I was in Sudan, the people that you have the best conversations with, man, they're the people who don't have that much. Yeah. So when I was listening to Kiyosaki, Mr. Kiyosaki sitting there talking about, poor friends, I was like, no, I don't agree with you. Give them justice. Give them justice. But
you should have like different pools of friends for different things.
Exactly, for different. You shouldn't have the same person for everything because. It
becomes confusing and it becomes boring, I guess.
It does. And not just that. Majid, I noticed people with less, honestly, they make for the best people.
And they have,
I will tell you that.
They have more life lessons that they can give you because they go through a lot.
Yeah, they do.
Every day is a fight for them, so they have more life lessons for you.
And by the way, they're much more positive and they're much more nicer to be around.
Yeah.
There's nothing more annoying than to sit next to a rich person who just keeps complaining. Like, shut up. I don't want to hear what you have to say. I'm sorry. That's just my view. But back to the Randy Zuckerberg part of you saying that,
the founder of, I confused her with Casey.
The founder of Facebook Live. What was so interesting? At the summit, she was talking about how, at first she thought it was going to be completely unsuccessful because of a live she made that got 2 viewers. But then later on, Katy Perry called in and said, I want to announce my concert on Facebook Live. And then it became a big thing. And then the next thing you know, Obama, he wants to announce his election on Facebook Live. But you know what I even found more interesting than all of that? She said that what they'd sometimes do in Facebook is that they'd use Facebook Live to market startup companies. And she said, we helped out a company called Twitter when they, imagine that. They helped them through Facebook Live to market Twitter.
Nice.
That is so, before it became X and everything, but that's so crazy. All these giants, they're so interconnected. Yeah. I found that scary. That just kind of shocked me. I was like, ooh, they're not only are they in the same timeline, but they're almost helping each other.
I guess Facebook was the OG social media platform. And it helped build a lot of, not even companies, big companies that we see today, a lot of influencers as well. A lot of people who are old, like Casey Neistat, he is a big YouTuber, but they all started from Facebook. Because Facebook was the OG social media platform, and then YouTube was there, but YouTube was not there in the form that we see today, paying big people big money. So Facebook.
I still need to make a Facebook account. I need to do
I think Facebook has gone out of fashion right now. There's nothing that the new generation. I've stopped using Facebook
not for my
a lot.
aunties.
Yeah, but a lot of still. I remember one of the examples that Richard gives. I've heard him a lot, and one of the brands. He says there has no physical store and they have 200 plus ads going on Facebook constantly. So there is still this this demographic that uses Facebook.
It's a very large demographic, by the way.
Yeah, but it's not the newer generation. It's the different generation, I guess. So they use it. So even if you're marketing to that demographic, Facebook is perfect.
Yeah.
But right now, the newer generation, my cousins, everyone I ask, everyone is either on TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat. They don't use Facebook.
Which one's your favorite?
Mine was Facebook. Obviously, I grew up with Facebook.
But
I
now,
joined Facebook at a time when you needed to have a connection request. So if someone was already on Facebook, I guess they had 5 or 6 people they could invite on Facebook. So I got an invitation from a friend whose auntie lived in US. So she sent him a request, and then he had an option to send request to 5 or 6 people. It was 2009, 2008. So yeah, very long back. So I started the first Facebook account there.
No, but
it's still the same. I still have
Majid,
that.
Facebook, its value is honestly infinite. Like I noticed, I remember I was once doing this research piece. I don't remember for what, and I was looking for very old, like historical photos. Imagine this:
you get it
the
on
only
Facebook.
place I was able to find that beautiful archive, black and white photos, Facebook. And I keep procrastinating it, but man, I need to make my Facebook account. I need it because the photos that I find on it, it has such hidden gems, like
because
old
it's old.
stuff.
So there will always be stuff before social media, all these platforms came. There will be stuff there on Facebook. So yeah, Facebook, OG.
Yeah, and for our first topic today, now we know that the final race of the season for F1, it's coming this Sunday. And our topic for today is that the Qatar Investment Authority has finally established the agreement to acquire minority stake in Audi's F1 team. Now, this move is aimed at providing substantial financial backing for the team's infrastructure and development ahead of Audi's official entry into Formula One in 2026. Now, Qatar's Sovereign Wealth Fund, they really view this investment as a part of the strategy to target opportunities with long-term growth, according to CEO Mohammed Al Suwaidi. And really, it's Qatar getting its hands on everything, and especially one of the largest sports, with such a big capital pool, that's beyond important.
The good thing is that we're seeing other sovereign wealth funds apart from Abu Dhabi, from Saudi. We're seeing other Middle Eastern countries make important investments. Oman is doing stuff. Qatar Investment Authority is doing stuff.
Also Bahrain, Mumtalakat, they invested a stake into McLaren.
Yeah, so it's very good. We did a piece quite a while back on who is doing what in F1. Saudi Arabia has a long list of where they've invested in F1. Let me open that up for you so I don't miss anything or I don't misread anything. Apart from that, Bahrain is there. 4 of the Formula One races take place in Middle Eastern countries. Bahrain it was very surprising when I read it that Bahrain was the first country to host a Formula One race. So that was surprising because Saudi, Dubai, UAE, all these stuff, came later. Bahrain came first.
I think that's very enjoyable for Bahraini people because Majid, I have one of my friends, she's Bahraini, and imagine this, she has met every single Formula One driver, every single one of them, without fail, and I'm like, how come? And she went like, because Bahrain is so small. So when
whenever
they
the
come,
race happens,
you're gonna meet all of them. But
Saudi Arabia is a footprint in F1. They want to develop one more F1 grade circuit in Qiddiya, which is a new city that they're building. It's entertainment and sporting and all the things hub right now. So Saudi government, where it's state-owned company Aramco, they have a global partnership with F1 around 378 million pounds over 10 years. So that is there. Aramco is also a title sponsor for Aston Martin team. They have a significant stake in the Aston Martin F1 team through PIF, Public Investment Fund. PIF-backed Aston Martin is also making power moves. They have wooed F1's star engineer, Adrian Newey. This was the biggest move in F1 in the last nearly 5 to 10 years. This guy is behind some of the fastest cars in F1. Right now, Red Bull winning everything is because of this engineer. So PIF-backed Aston Martin, they've got this engineer. They're trying to get the winning driver right now. The Aston Martin team boss Mike Crack said that the door is always open for Verstappen, Max Verstappen. He's the defending champion. So Middle Eastern countries, they're not just like sitting back and sponsoring stuff.
Exactly.
They're owning stuff. They're taking part in stuff. They're sponsoring stuff. You have the Ferrari world in Abu Dhabi. So that's
Yeah.
like one of the big signs that these countries, in their divestment campaign
They
and
are.
diversification campaign, they're looking at sports as well.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
they're really like as you like said, they're not just sponsoring, they're really taking such a huge spot in the market. And I think that in itself, it's so beautiful because what we're seeing, it's not just any kind of achievement. Imagine, this is so big. This is insane. This is absolutely insane. So we know that in the upcoming decade, we're gonna not only see the Middle East, investing stakes into all of these companies. We're also gonna see, more drivers perhaps that are from the Middle East that are going to become, very famous, like Lewis Hamilton. I met him, by the way.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you met him.
I met Lewis Hamilton yesterday.
He said something about Dubai.
Yeah, he did. He was speaking about Dubai, and he mentioned how, what he really likes what Dubai did because. Dubai did the impossible. They took a land, the way that he described it, like they took a land with nothing and they made it completely have everything like that caters to your wildest dreams. And just seeing Hamilton saying that and recognizing that, every day, honestly, I just become proud. It's really lovely to hear that, the home that you live in, that people recognize the specialty in it just as you do. Yeah. Because, there's always obviously an ongoing debate online of, is Dubai this, is Dubai that? And so just seeing like these big stars on such a big stage, recognizing that just makes me really happy.
The funny thing about Hamilton is if you're in Dubai right now, you'll see his face plastered somewhere at least. He's done so many campaigns in Dubai. He's doing campaigns. He did campaign for G42, the AI giant in Abu Dhabi. Recently, he was part of the 6 star-studded E&, ad. There was Jason Statham, there was Shah Rukh Khan, there's a lot of people in that ad. Megan Fox is there.
And right now he's the global ambassador for CFI. It's like a trading company.
Yeah. I saw his ad for that as well. So you'll see him everywhere in Dubai right now. Actually, I saw him in Abu Dhabi for the CFI ad as well.
Yeah.
So he's all over UAE. The only thing I find funny, I was talking to you about it, about Lewis Hamilton. In 2022, I just opened the article. He was asked, he was going for a race in Saudi Arabia. And he was asked about the Saudi human rights record, and he said they should improve it. And at that point, he was very critical of the Middle East. But now, since he's earning money from this region, he's like, oh, this is the best place. So I guess money changes people is true.
I don't think
because you can go and find his statements on the Middle East.
Imagine, I don't think it's money that's changing people. I completely disagree with that. I think it's awareness. I think
maybe
before there wasn't that much of a strong media presence in the Middle East. No, really, there wasn't. But like now, you have all these like rising new media outlets. Love in Dubai, they report on the country. People now more than ever are seeing what we have to give. They're seeing it through not only our media outlets, they're seeing it through Netflix TV shows, Love is Blind, Habibi, what's it called? Dubai Bling. Like the outer world, they have finally been able to see what the UAE has to offer. So, of course, they're going to say good things about it. Because in the past, what happened is everybody was kind of under this Western umbrella of, the Middle East is evil, the Middle East is unethical. But now, this umbrella, it's moved, it's come up, it's been removed. And people, they're not blinded by the media anymore, by Western
building
views.
On your point, I just remembered a very interesting conversation I had with a family on Dubai Metro. There's this Finnish family. They were like father and mother and the daughter. They were there. So there's a priority seat in every train. So I was sitting there and they entered and I was like, okay, you can have a seat. And they were so happy. And then I started having a chat with the man, the uncle. He was very old, so I can call him uncle. I'm old also. But I started having a chat with him. Where are you from? And they said that we've been in Dubai. We were in Abu Dhabi, and then we came to Dubai. And their first-person account was we came with a very weird idea. It was their first time in the UAE. And I remember correctly that he said that when me and my wife and my daughter, we were traveling here, we had this idea of, there'll be hangings happening on the road, women will be covered, and this and that. And they're like, as soon as we came to Abu Dhabi on the airport, we saw a different world. And we were like, what? They were like, we were actually shocked because whatever we read, whatever we saw in the news, we were like, oh, we're going to a very like difficult country. But then they're like, we came here, we've spent 7 days here, and we have realized it's not, absolutely not what we've been told.
Exactly.
So that is like the account that you get from tourists and visitors who come here for the first time. So I agree with the point that you made about Hamilton, that maybe now he's traveling here, he's doing a lot of business here, like getting money from a lot of companies to do ads, and finally he's been able to experience the hospitality, the safety, security, all the things that we market for the UAE. So finally he's realized that whatever he learned from media, from everything, it's not true. It's a very different country, and it's a very different region. Lebanon is famous for party. UAE, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, all the big, they have culture, they have parties, they have everything that you want.
You're completely right about that.
Yeah, so you're coming for mosques, go to Sharjah, you'll find mosques. You want nightlife, good nightlife, best 5-star hotels, you'll get it. Everything that you want is there in this region.
And you know, Majid, like, you know, the hospitality that you speak of, you know, how beautiful this region is. It's actually not something that just happened. I feel like, you know, because of the news that we're coming out with right now, people are constantly thinking, you know, this is something that just happened. This is something that just happened for the Middle East. No, it did not. I remember a while ago when I was reading the autobiography of Malcolm X. So, you know, Malcolm X, when he, you know, reverted to Islam and he was spreading the message in America for the longest time ever, Majid, he stayed in America. He actually had no idea about like Sunnah Islam that is usually in Saudi Arabia. And then, you know, unfortunately, before he passed away, his final visit was to Saudi Arabia. All right. And Majid, this is something, imagine this is a book that was released in the 20th century, not even in this century that we're living in which we are seeing the progress that countries like Saudi Arabia are achieving. Do you know what he said? He said that when I went to Saudi Arabia, when I went to the Kaaba, it completely surprised me that I was seeing all kinds of people with different colored eyes, with different skin colors, all in Saudi Arabia. And he said even more so than that, the hospitality that I received. I believe he stayed with the royal family. I'm not sure about that though. Please do confirm it. And he said that he was, by the way, he was completely baffled by it, the hospitality that he received in Saudi Arabia. And you know what he said? Everything that he thought about these countries, it was wrong. It was not true. And because previous to that, if I could just give a bit of context, they followed something. It was basically called the Nation of Islam, and to them, like, the devil was like the white man with blue eyes, and that's why when he went to Saudi Arabia and he saw that, you know, there was all kinds of diverse people worshiping the same God, his perspective completely changed. But in the book, he specifically showed how Saudi Arabia, it's way different than what people portray it to be. The people are so hospitable, they're so kind. So, you know, the progress that we're seeing with the Middle East, that we're seeing in all of its global industries, it's not something that just happened. It's just recently being covered a lot more. They're finally
getting... It was always there.
Exactly. They're finally getting that justice of more coverage, and it's more important than ever. And finally, for our final topic today, you know, we all know that